Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatima Deary. I am the refugee liaison for Mayor Jackie Biskupski. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me back there? Good? Moana? Yeah? Okay, awesome. Everybody should have a folder at the table with the program, so I'm just going to go over that real quick. Real quick before we get started, due to what's going on with the border as well as all the refugee crisis, I'd like to take a moment of silence just to reflect and kind of give that moment. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. As you all know, today we're gathered to celebrate World Refugee Day, as well as to celebrate every diverse community member who has contributed to Salt Lake City in terms of economy, as well as all the service providers and community organizers and community leaders. We hope today's gathering will be able to allow all those who are in attendance to understand how to network differently with the various refugee community members. We have over 20 different refugee communities represented here today, as you can see, as well as we hope that you have a brief understanding of the background of refugees, what they go through, and how they impact the greater and larger community of Utah. And then overall, we want you to be able to know how to become an ally to refugees, how to advocate on refugee issues and refugee needs. Last but not least, we want to make sure that today's gathering, we're able to really reflect how we can make Salt Lake City a welcoming city for everyone to live in, breathe in, work in, and just enjoy themselves, okay? So let's give it up a round of applause for everyone who made it through to here tonight. Real quick, I'm just going to make a quick announcement of all the different department heads that are represented here from the Salt Lake City Mayor's Office or Salt Lake City's Corporation. Fire Department, Chief Carl Leap. Stand up real quick. And Darby Eckbert is also with the Fire Department. Chief Mike Brown with the Salt Lake City Police Department. Dustin Park with also Salt Lake City Department. Laura Fritz, I have not seen her yet. She's with the Economic Development. She should be here soon, so let's give her up for her. All of the mayor's staff, if you guys can stand up. I don't know if you're all in the room, but there's Matthew, Moana, Tim, Nate, Leah, Erin, she's hiding in the back room there. And all of our interns, Angie, she's outside there. And then, of course, I want to recognize all the agencies and community partners who are here. IRC, International Rescue Committee, if your staff is here, please stand up, get recognized. Refugee Services Office, please stand up. Catholic Community Services of Utah, Ada Matar. Thank you. Asian Association of Utah. We're good, okay. Community leaders, community members, Congolese, Iraqis, Somalis, Sudanese, everyone who's here from all the communities. All right, next I'm going to introduce the mayor to do our welcoming remarks. You guys know how dedicated Mayor Jackie Biskupski is to refugee issues, immigrant issues, diverse issues, issues that reflect and also make us be a better person. And so she really want to make sure that each one of us have a representation, and we know that we can count on all the things that she advocates for on behalf of refugees and immigrants. So welcome, Mayor Jackie.
Thank you. You're welcome. Good job. Thank you, Fatima. You're doing a great job for us, and thank you for pulling this event together so well. Thank you, everyone, for coming together today to help us celebrate. But I am completely aware that We have heavy hearts at this time in our country, and the stuff that is happening. So we must celebrate, and we must stick together, and we must do this work to help one another. So only a few generations ago, refugees fleeing persecution came to this valley to start a new life for themselves. They built a new home to pray and live as they saw fit, a new place with opportunity and hope for the future. Whether you trace your roots in this city back to handcarts, mining, or a ski trip like me, we are bound by the history of this place we now call home. Being a place of refuge is deeply woven into the culture of Utah. So it is with great despair that we watch what our president is doing to people on our nation's southern border. We watch in horror as children are separated from their mothers and placed in converted warehouses or tents. We struggle to understand how a country built on freedom and opportunity can deny asylum to women escaping physical abuse. And we realize the moral cost to our nation as it closes its doors to victims of war, poverty, and peril, while sowing fear into the hearts of immigrants and refugees living in our communities. While running for mayor of Salt Lake City, I did not anticipate that I would need to spend so much time defending the basic dignity found in America's greatest ideals. But here we are, too often living up to the values America holds most dear is often taken for granted by many who are citizens by birth. Being a true American requires work. As you know, being an American not only comes with rights, it comes with responsibilities. What makes this so hard is that our primary responsibilities to be a beacon of hope and stability in the world aren't found in our policies. They are honorable obligations passed down to us through generations. In 1883, an American poet, Emma Lazarus, wrote a poem known as The New Colossus to be used to raise money for the construction of the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty. A descendant of the first Jews to emigrate to our nation's shores, Emma wrote, "Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that the Twin Cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." These are the words a nation of immigrants and a nation of refugees had chosen to carve into bronze and place into brick on an anchor in our country's most famous harbor. The words of a poet, not a politician. Words of hope, not of hate. Each of us here today has an obligation to hold true to these words, to recognize them as a creed of our nation. As mayor, I am proud to lead a city which continues to hold high the lamp of welcome for all people. Salt Lake City will continue to be a place of hope to immigrants and refugees coming to the United States. This mission is recognized throughout my administration. My office's Know Your Neighbor program has connected hundreds of refugees with volunteers in the community. The Salt Lake City Police Department has reaffirmed a policy of respect for immigrants and those from multicultural backgrounds, even in the face of threats from the Trump administration. And the Salt Lake City Fire Department is working closely with my administration to identify refugees who can become members of their elite team. Though these times are difficult, we will not be deterred. We will continue to speak out. We will continue to help those seeking solace in our nation. We will lift each other up and provide refuge to those in need. And we will not allow our nation's moral compass to be compromised, nor the golden door of opportunity to close. We are one, and we are in this together. I want to say thank you to a dear woman who came back to Salt Lake City to prepare the food that you are eating today. Wato, are you in the room? Is she in here? We'll bring her in a minute, but it is important to break bread together, especially at a time like this. And so I am very grateful to her and to all of you who came today. Today we will also honor two individuals who have worked at the state level to help us all succeed as Americans in this country. And we will honor their contributions here in just a minute. But I want to say thank you for coming today and for being a part of this and for being a part of Salt Lake City. Thank you.
The food was prepared by Rosette Bahati, Watoto Africa. She's with the company called Watoto Africa. They have entertainment, dance groups, as well as food catering as well. Next, we'll watch a quick short video. It's only a minute long. It's a look back of 2017 World Refugee Day Festival.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
So today we are celebrating World Refugee Day. We swore in some refugees as new citizens, so now we're celebrating that citizenship, and the community is coming together as a whole, and the celebration includes everyone, which is so exciting. We are one under this roof, and I love it.
Kabibi kawana shebra chokate matembere kwe ya yungu Bembele kabwana vitenge utapata Kabiyama ola ole kabiyama ola ole tumi kweke ubafu.
Okay, next up, I'd like to invite Asha Parek with the State Refugee Services Office. She's the Director of Refugee Services Office. She's going to give us a brief history behind World Refugee Day and everything else. Thank you, Asha.
Thank you, Fatima and Mayor Biskupski, for your great words. In terms of the history of World Refugee Day, in June of 2000, the United General Assembly made a resolution that led to the first World Refugee Day, which was held in June of 2001. And its purpose is to draw attention to millions of refugees and internally displaced persons forced to flee their homes due to war, conflict, and persecution. In Utah, we will be celebrating the 14th annual World Refugee Day this Saturday at Fairmount Park from 10 to 4 p.m. If I sound like an ad for it, I apologize, but it's the best event that the Refugee Services Office coordinates, and I want to take this moment to invite you all to join us there. We have a fun-filled, packed day, so I'm sure we'll see you all there. I also thought today is a good day to share one of my favorite quotes that is decades old. It's from Garrison Keillor. It goes like this: "Heroes, all of them. At least they're my heroes, especially the immigrants, especially the refugees. Everyone makes fun of New York cab drivers who can't speak English. They're heroes. To give up your country is the hardest thing a person can do. To leave the old, familiar places and ship out over the edge of the world to America and learn everything over again, different than you learned as a child. Learn the language that you will never be so smart or funny in as your true language. It takes years to start to feel semi-normal. And still, people come. And they come on behalf of their children. And they come for freedom, not for our land, not for our culture, not for our system of government, but for freedom. They are heroes who make an adventure on our behalf, showing by their struggle how precious, beyond words, freedom is. And if we knew their stories, we could not keep back the tears." So with those words, I just want to again invite you to World Refugee Day on Saturday. Thank you.
Asha, you can't leave. You can't get back. Okay, next we'll have Mayor Jackie Biskupski read the proclamation, and it will also be signed off and given to the State Refugee Services Office, since they coordinate and put together the massive World Refugee Day, but it is also dedicated to all of you, as well as the 2 resettlement agencies. So.
Very good. Well, World Refugee Day is a blast. So invite your friends and family and come down. It's one of our favorite events of the year. So do you want to step over here while I read this and sign it for you? Whereas Salt Lake City is a welcoming city and one that affirms the beauty and richness of our diversity, and one in which all people are welcome, accepted, and appreciated. And whereas over 65,000 refugees live in the state of Utah and over 34,000 immigrants live in Salt Lake City, making our community stronger economically, socially, and culturally. And whereas millions of refugees, regardless of faith or country of origin, are making life and death decisions to flee their homes and countries because they are unable to access shelter, health care, education, or protection. And whereas the United States of America, a nation of immigrants and refugees, must continue to live up to the honorable obligation carved into the base of the Statue of Liberty, our most recognized symbol of freedom. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And whereas organizations such as the International Rescue Committee, Catholic Community Services, and Refugee Services Office are responsible for resettling refugees and providing social services in our community. And whereas only a few generations ago, refugees fleeing religious persecution established a home in Salt Lake City, and each of us continues to be bound by the history of this place we now call home. Now, therefore, I, Jacqueline M. Biskupski, Mayor of Salt Lake City, do hereby recognize June 20th, 2018 as World Refugee Day in Salt Lake City, and encourage all residents to attend and celebrate the 14th Annual World Refugee Day Festival on June 23rd, 2018, and I urge other local and state communities to join us in creating a welcoming and thriving state for everyone. Right, sister. And of course you wow. There you go. Thank you.
Oh, you weren't kidding.
No, I wasn't.
Thank you, Mayor and Asha. Next, I'd like to invite Asma Dahir. She's going to do a quick poem called My Name, followed by a speech.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming out to celebrate the lives of those who have embarked a journey to come to a safer home. My name is Asma, and I'm going to share a small spoken word followed by my story of how my clashing identities brought me to who I am today. My name is Asma Ali Daher Yusuf. My name is Asma Ali Daher. My name is Asma Ali. My name is Asma. My name. Is it even mine? But mine doesn't sound alive. Me. Is it still me? Have I forgotten my identity because of what they call me? Is my name ugly because of my dark skin? The dark, rich melanin that is unique to you and beautiful to me? The skin that doesn't fit in today's society? Or is my name terrorist because of my religion? The religion I love so deeply that only preaches peace, but others choose to manipulate its teachings. Or am I Asma, the girl who once had hope in her eyes, the one that smiled and didn't worry about the time that passed by, the spirited little girl who had a funny laugh and loved to dance? She isn't gone, she's just buried deep into the words they call her. But she will be free, and writing this is the first step, you see. I wrote this poem when I was just beginning to appreciate all my identities. This wasn't long ago. I have struggled all throughout my childhood and was constantly questioning and asking, who really is Asma Daher and what is she worth? I have multiple clashing identities, being a Muslim woman born to refugee parents in America. Horrific claims and misconceptions that were based from ignorance and lack of education placed a label on me without my integrity and compassion being in place. I began to internalize and hate myself for such claims. It wasn't long until I realized the damage I had subconsciously have done to myself as a result to this. It was then when I started my journey of self-rediscovery and love for all aspects of my life. For far too long, I resented the idea of me. I prayed to one day wake up in someone else's skin, to be born with a fairer complexion. I prayed for my tongue to grasp the English language so I could flow each vowel and consonant with ease. I prayed for the piece of cloth wrapping my upper body to one day not being there anymore. I constantly questioned my God. All throughout my childhood, I was a walking body without a soul. When I was about 15 years old or so, I began to realize the damage I had done to myself. I have risked my relationship with my family, my community, and my faith. While I was trying so hard to fit in, I forgot that I was a human with imperfection. It never occurred to me that they too wanted to be me. I was so blinded with the standard of beauty and tired of what society told me and how to fit in. I had to have more Eurocentric features. I had to remove my hijab. I had to walk, talk, and dress like them. They never said it was okay to be me, to love my skin unconditionally, to let my hijab not only be a cloth, but a lifestyle, to love my roots and be proud of where I came from. Somalia Hanolato. It was time for a change, to be the representation I never had as a child, to help bring the souls back into the soulless bodies by leading by example. I fear for the damage that may potentially burden the lives of our young, beautiful girls and boys. I refuse for the plague of society to damage the brilliant souls that are yet to flourish. I vow to be the representation I never had as a child. I vow to be my authentic self. I vow to stay true to what I believe in and to encourage greatness within interactions. I am Asma Ali Daher, a sophomore at Westminster College making a stand. I am an unapologetically Black Muslim woman, born to refugee parents, unafraid to speak my truth. Thank you.
I think she deserves a round of applause standing up. Please, let's give it up for her. She got me emotional. I don't usually get emotional. That's odd. Okay, next up, we have two other amazing youth that are going to share quick remarks, speeches. I'd like to welcome Atib Muhammad, and then followed by Samia Ibrahim. Samia, you can come up in the front as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Atib Ismail. I'm a refugee from Darfur, Sudan, and my story is about coming to America. Firstly, I went to Cameroon to get a visa. I stayed in Cameroon for 6 months. The culture is so different compared to how we live it in Darfur. First of all of the languages are different. In Sudan, we speak Arabic and Masalit and a lot of other languages. But in Cameroon, they speak French and other indigenous languages. It is so hard to live in Cameroon if you don't speak French. Next, I arrived to Salt Lake City. I was surprised by the big buildings, houses, and seeing snow on the first day. And I was also surprised by the new people I met, Americans and Sudanese people. When I lived in Sudan, I didn't know that Sudanese people lived in America. I was happy that I was not alone yet. Regardless, I was so sad because I thought there were no friends here for me to talk and play with. My third struggle was adapting to school. In my first day at school, I was extremely bored because it was longer than what I was used to. In my country, we get out of school too early. But in Salt Lake City, we go to school in the morning and we get out of school in the afternoon. We only learn math, Arabic, the history of Darfur, and science. But in America, we had math, youth and history, science, PE, halls, English, computer classes, and more. I was afraid in my first day at school because I didn't speak English. I went to my first period class and I got nervous because I didn't know anyone in my class. And I went to my second period class after I had missed my first. I got confused because in Sudan, the teachers switch according to period, while most of the students remain in the same rooms. It was hard for me to communicate with my peers and teachers. We did not share the same language. And I was extremely shy. I was not used to meeting so many new people at once. I came from a small village. It was also embarrassing because I never spoke to girls before. For all these reasons, I struggle with culture shock. Today, I'm a little better at navigating my school and catching up with my peers. I also feel more confidence with interacting with people from another culture. I'm happy to be here in America and for all the opportunities the future has for me. Thank you for listening to me.
Hi everyone, my name is Samia Ibrahim and I'm going to speak to you about how to be a young leader. I want to be a leader, but it always makes me so nervous. One time when I was in 8th grade, I had to be a group leader in my class. I was assigned to make sure all of my group members were not failing behind. I had to make sure they turned in their assignments on time and were focusing. This role gave me the chance to experience how to lead students that are my age. Unexpectedly, this experience made me stronger. I learned about myself. I care more about the students, and I feel like I took a big risk. My purpose today is to encourage young people like me to step up and become leaders too. Being a leader means having skills and talents and then sharing them. Everyone has unique talents, and some of mine include communication and encouraging other people. Encouraging other people may not seem like a skill, but it is. Encouragement prevents people from giving up. For example, one of my friends felt shy about sharing her story because she thought it was too different and weird. But I encouraged her by helping her be confident and telling her that everyone has their own story and should be shared. As a result, she became more open about sharing her story. Everyone has a skill or talent to share and can make a difference, whether great or small. When you share your skills and talents, you become stronger. By sharing them, you develop them further. I'm always passionate when it comes to innovation. I like to think critically in creating new ideas. When I lived in my hometown, Khartoum, I had no idea how technology worked. So when I moved here, I involved myself in many activities that helped me learn about creativity and change. I felt stronger because I reached the many goals that I've set. Never let someone tell you that you cannot accomplish something. If you feel passionate and you have a dream for anything you want to accomplish, it is possible. I've been involved in sports, one of which was soccer. We play really well and won many trophies. We've competed in many tournaments. We score a lot, but I've always wondered why it's hard for me to score. I tend to think negatively, but it didn't mean that I don't play hard. Then I started to believe in myself. I realized that it's about practice and teamwork. I watched a character in a movie I like called Chris Gardner stated to his son, never let someone tell you that you cannot do something. If you got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you that you cannot do it. I have been influenced by this quote. It encouraged me to think positively and believe in myself that I can do anything. Leadership means to have faith in yourself. It means having passion, honesty, positive thoughts, and integrity. For example, when you help yourself and help direct other people to exemplify leadership, when there is a challenge, you are able to manage and encourage others. It's the actions you do, not intentions that matter. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Samia and Atib. I'd just like to mention both of them have been here less than 5 years in the United States, and they're incredible. So let's give it up to them one more time. Okay, now we move up to the awards section. We're going to start out with an incredible woman, also known as Representative Carol Moss. Carol Moss has We met several years ago at some function, at a Democratic function, where I was speaking about the Know Your Neighbor program. And she decided to join the program and do our conversation classes, where you communicate with refugees who are getting ready to get employed elsewhere, whether it's any type of job. And so for them to feel confident and comfortable as they're walking into interviews for their job. Through this program, she has learned that there are challenges many refugees are facing, such as obtaining a driver's license when they first arrive in the United States. And so I will give her more time to talk about it, but we do want to dedicate this award, this dignitary award, to Representative Moss, as well as Senator Curtis Bramble. The two of them worked collaboratively to get this bill passed, and also worked with several of refugee community leaders and community agencies and partners to make this achievement happen. So with that, I'd like to welcome Asha Parekh up here, as well as the mayor and Representative Carol Moss, to accept her award, her certificate. She's going to briefly share some of her remarks in terms of the background and what inspired her to get this work going.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Fatima and Mayor and Asha and everyone. And thank you, Mayor Biskupski, for spearheading this event. This is a wonderful way to honor so many people. As Fatima told you, I got involved in this conversational English program and learned then firsthand about what life is really like for refugees. And I'll just tell you one story briefly, because there are many great stories. A Muslim mother who had 5 children, came to those classes twice a week on Tuesday and Thursday for an hour. And it took her 2 buses and a train, tracks, to get to that Meadowbrook campus, so maybe an hour, hour and a half. But her day began at 4:30, where she'd get up and pray. Then she'd fix breakfast, she'd get all the kids up, get them off to their various schools, and then she took classes herself. And then she worked. And then she did the conversational classes. And so that's the kind of tenacity and courage that I've seen from so many people that I've met in the refugee community, and it overwhelms me. I taught high school English for many years, and all those kids who spoke English as their first language, studied writing and literature, and then I think of you wonderful students and how well you all spoke, and the time that the relatively small time that you've spent learning English. I'm just in awe of what you've done and what you do. But I want to honor a friend of mine, a constituent, Kathy Peterson. Kathy, stand up, and I'm going to tell you what she did. Kathy is a constituent and lives nearby. I taught her children. We've known each other for a long time, but she did something that is really critical in a representative democracy like we have. She contacted me, she emailed me, and told me about a refugee woman, mother of 5, who she'd been mentoring, and her difficulty in getting her driver's license renewed in English, as the law was. 4 years, you had the first time you could have an interpreter, then you had a 4-year, not a 5-year like everybody else, license. And then how many times she tried to take and how dispirited she became, finally gave up, started taking the bus to her job, the Deseret Industries, this past summer, and got hit by a car crossing State Street going to her job. Now, her life could have fallen apart then. The kids were all doing well in school. Her husband was struggling with the same issue, getting his driver's license renewed. So she asked me to do something, and so I had a bill drafted, and I worked with Senator Bramble. I'm sorry he couldn't be here today. And we changed the law. So for any of you who don't know, the law now says the first time a refugee coming to this country, the first time they apply for a driver's license, they can use an interpreter, as that's the law now, to pass the written part of the driver's test. But now they have a 5-year license. The first time they renew, you can also use an interpreter if you need it. So that's going to help the hundreds and hundreds of people that I heard from that couldn't get through that test, and many of them lost jobs as a result. So basically, it's 10 years now. 10 years you have in order to learn English well enough to take that written test. And I was so pleased with my colleagues. I'm a Democrat, Senator Bramwell's a Republican. As we explained this, as it went through the process, that we said these are refugees who were brought here by our country to escape persecution and terribly difficult situations. And we are helping them with transportation, education, housing. And then what did we do? Put up a big stumbling block. And if they can't drive, they can't do these things. They cannot achieve economic independence. And I am so proud of all the welcoming nature of our community, all the refugee services, the workforce services, Catholic Charities, LDS Humanitarian, all the many people who have come together and welcomed refugees, and especially at this time, Mayor. And I mean, I can hardly talk about what's been happening. Salt Lake is a beacon in terms of welcoming and mentoring and helping people reestablish their lives and have opportunities for themselves and their children. So I was so happy to work with and meet so many people. And as I said, representative democracy, you reach out to the people that were elected to represent you, and they can respond and look at what happened. And it all happens because we have this kind of governmental process, and people can complain and complain and complain, but not always do they reach out and get to the right person, because it's not you people who do the hard work. I was just the vehicle to make this happen. So thank you to everyone. It's just been my honor. Thank you.
So I'm going to read the award. So I'm going to read this award. It's a Refugee Advocacy Award presented to Representative Carol Spackman Moss on June 20th, 2018. I, Jacqueline M. Biskupski, Mayor of Salt Lake City, do hereby present you with the 2018 Refugee Advocacy Award in recognition of your extraordinary contributions and dedication to our city and state. Your work in serving and advocating on behalf of refugees has made a profound difference in the lives of many. Your efforts are worthy of the highest praise. Salt Lake City residents and I are deeply grateful, and we honor you as a distinguished individual in our community. Thank you.
Next up, we're going to skip Senator Bramble, but we'll deliver his certificate and let him know how much we appreciate his advocacy for refugees as well as policy development. Next up, I'd like to invite Lina Smith. Lina Smith has worked with refugee services for over 20 years. I met Lina when I was probably 14, 15. She has mentored me, many other refugees. She has developed thousands and thousands of programs to help refugees and make refugees a part of this community. With that, I'd like to dedicate this dignitary award to Lina Smith, and I also would like to ask Mayor and Asha to stay standing here with me to hand out the awards.
Okay. All right. Well, let's oh, this says Ramble.
No.
That won't work. Okay.
Yeah, just hold it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
God. Okay, then we'll get you your.
Okay. I'm gonna stand on this. I'm going to be calling up
Okay.
about 12 people to come up. Yes, yes. Asha, come back. Asha.
Asha, you can
Come back here. I'm going to have to, like, use a swing. Okay, while you guys handle those, I'll handle the awards. Okay, as I call everyone's name up, please come up and just stay standing here and grab your certificate. Aziza Hussein. Abu Mecha. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, stand right there. Aziza Hussein has recently graduated with her bachelor's degree. She's working at the Housing Authority. She has went through several challenges and is inspired to help out refugees, learn about mental health, and reflect back in terms of what she has done for the community. And so we're really proud of what Aziza has done for us. Thank you. Next up, I'd like to invite Philip Doe. Philip is with the Liberian community. He has transformed the community and has made all the community members more active and getting involved in running workshops and helping them out. So grab your... Okay, next up, I'd like to invite Deborah Joseph. Deborah Joseph is with from the Sudanese community. She has volunteered with the community since she's only been here for 3 months. She helps with women's services, with childcare, with a number of workshops, and she's very dedicated to getting others to volunteer as well. Next, I'd like to invite Marie Chantel. She may not be here, so we will skip. Next, I'd like to invite up Sadia Mohammed. She's from the Somali community. Sadia Mohammed has 10 children, but yet she finds time to help the community and contribute and do as much activities as she can in the mosque as well as throughout the community. She's going to hate me because I'm going to mess up saying her name. Yvette, come on up next from the Congolese community. Yvette has currently... And Gilbert, both of you, awesome. Both of these women has recently organized a nonprofit called Women in Action, and they're helping with English classes with 45 different women from their community, so we're very proud of them. Well, oh, that's hers, okay.
Right here.
Okay, do we have Surya Grong from the Bhutanese community? Surya? Okay. Chandra from the Bhutanese community as well. Is Chandra in the house? Okay. We will hand these to them, so no worries. Okay, next up, I'd like to invite Daoud Iftin. Daoud has recently gotten his dream job of becoming a police officer with Highway Patrol, and he's still in training, so we're very proud of him of being an example for the refugee communities, as well as for constantly helping out his community and all of us at large. So thank you, Daoud. Okay, last but not least, Layla Adams. Layla is the one with the baby. Did she step out? Okay, she's here. Awesome. Layla helps her Sudanese community as well as all other women's community. She attends every event in the community and is inspired to help everyone, and so we are very proud of Layla. Thank you, Layla. Okay, Mayor and Asha, you may have a seat right now. Thank you very much. Okay, we're almost done with the program, I promise, so bear with me. With our closing remark, I'd like to invite Abdul Kahar to come up and share a closing remark. Before Abdul gets started, I want to just make quick announcements about several other organizations that I forgot to mention. The Utah Refugee Connection Center, the LDS Church, Paul Moody, as well as others who are sitting here, and any other organization, Salt Lake City School District, Carrie, Jennifer, Mary Glenn, everyone else that is working with us in partnership and helping our program become what it is today. So with that, I would also like to mention the University of Utah. They recently are putting together, they have a program, an MBA program. In September, we'll be holding a lunch and learn for any refugees who is interested in obtaining a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. There will be opportunities for scholarship. Gloria, do you want to stand up for a second? I can't remember the rest of your teams that are here, Julia, and I'll just make up names. Okay, so yeah, we'll be in touch with you guys with that. And then Laura Jones, who is with KRCL, she had to step out and do a radio segment. But in July, it's Pioneer History Day. We do recordings of people, personal stories, and their personal challenges. So for those who are interested, they can contact myself and Laura to get on air and share their story and really reflect and teach the broader community about your experiences and your knowledge and power. Okay, let me see, what else am I forgetting? Just real quick, bear with me. So with that, I am going to ask Abdul to come on up and give us our closing remarks. After he does that, we're gonna be free to do photos, networking, and just have fun. We'll play music. For those who wanna dance, you can dance. There's extra food, so take it with you. Thank you very much for coming down tonight.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I really control myself, so with the sad stories I heard from sister and two other young youths, so it almost made me cry, but I control myself. I was lucky today. Excellencies, governmental officials, representative of refugee support centers, ladies and gentlemen. Let me thank the organizers of today's event for commemorating the Global Refugee Day in such an amazing manner. My name is Abdul Qahar Barialai. I came to the United States in January 2017 through the Special Immigrant Visa Program and resettled in Great Salt Lake City, Utah. I and my family and every other Afghan and non-Afghan refugee, individual and families I have met so far, have been provided with all the necessary help and services when needed by the Refugee Support Centers, Utah Department of Workforce Services, Catholic Community Services, International Rescue Committee, and other agencies operating in this field. We were astonished by all these assistances, services provided to us, and the guidance as an orientation to our new environment, which is our home now, by all these different refugee support agencies, individuals, and their volunteers. After going through 2 community leadership trainings, one at the Westside Leadership Training Institute and the second at the Refugee Training Center, found out that there are passionate individuals, committed and professional leaders, and extraordinary generous people behind all these services provided to refugees and refugee communities. And those inspirational individuals are you, who have always been supporting refugees, and you advocate for them. I truly would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of my family and every other Afghan refugee and immigrant I have seen so far for your support, services, and the care you take of refugees. Thank you for your kind attention and best wishes for all. Thanks.